So, as I know you know, we, meaning Phoenix, broke heat records in the month of June, right? You're aware of that. I don't know how many days we had record heat, but it was more than one day. We were all scrambling in one way or another. And look at them. They're like, we didn't do it. We're like, we are innocent. It's just burning up. We're just burning up in here, right? We're burning up with the fire of God. Yes, hallelujah, brothers and sisters. All right, wait. Went to my non-Pentecostal roots, but I feel like I have them. All right, so we were all scrambling to keep cool, I think, last month, and honestly continuing scrambling to keep cool. And I know some of us, we found refuge in a cool, well, actually sometimes below zero temperature in a movie theater, right? Because they keep them below zero, I think, in there. Or we, spent our life in the swimming pool, or we scooted away to Flagstaff, or, better yet, San Diego. Who's been to San Diego already this summer? Like half of first service had already been. A couple of you have been already, yep. Or, San Francisco, another cool place to be. LA can be cool or not so cool necessarily, but nonetheless, we've done things. We've refused to get in our car, while the sun was up. We've done a lot of things to try to keep cool. I love two suggestions that were in the newspaper a couple of weeks ago when we were having the record heat. One of the suggestions was that you could order a snow cone with no syrup and simply dump the whole thing down your shirt. I thought that's a pretty good idea, actually. That would work. But my favorite one was this: loiter in front of the groceries dairy case. But when they come along and ask you to move along, you say that you are looking for organic, lactose-free yogurt produced by free-range goats born and raised in the Grecian lowlands. And then when they tell you, here it is, and hand you a carton of that, you say, my bad, did I say Grecian? I meant Slavic lowlands. I'm looking for that instead. So that'll give you a chance to stay there a little bit longer. So whatever we've done or will continue to do to keep cool while the heat is on this summer, here on Sunday morning, we're going to look at that as a metaphor. And a metaphor for how do we keep cool, that is our spiritual cool, when the heat is on in our lives. When life heats up, what can we do to keep our spiritual cool? And today, because it is the 4th of July weekend and we're honoring Independence Day, the independence of our nation, we also want to honor and look at the independence and freedom that we have as individuals to keep our spiritual cool, even in the midst of fireworks. So the talk today is entitled Freedom in the Fireworks. Because here's the spiritual truth. The spiritual truth, underscore, capitalize, as Ernest likes to do, all caps, the spiritual truth is that within every hot spot, there is the cool grace of Spirit. That within every fiery explosion, there is the brilliance and magnificence of Source. And within every firework, there is the gift of God's beauty and freedom. Now, those were so good, at least I think so. Those were so good that I want to say them again, all right, because I want you to get it. Within every hot spot, there is the cool grace of Spirit. Within every fiery explosion, there's the brilliance and magnificence of Source. And within every firework, there is the God's beauty and freedom. Today, we're specifically going to look at God's beauty and freedom found in the middle of the fireworks. So does that sound good? Yes. Because has anyone ever felt themselves in the middle of a firework? A couple times. A couple of 3-4 times, right? And if you're sitting there going, no, not me, never. Well, yay, hallelujah for you. You know somebody who has, right? So you're going to listen up because you're going to want to tell your friend about this. But my guess is it relates to all of us. Because one time or another, we have been, or we are now, or we might be in the middle of what we are calling this morning a firework. And so what does that mean? Well, it means, we've received a diagnosis that's really scary. Our body isn't functioning like it used to, and it has, and we get scared about that. Or we're having a financial challenge. Things are financially snug and tight and scary. Or we're having a relationship predicament, or we've lost a relationship. We've got trouble on the job, or we have trouble finding a job. Or perhaps we have unhealed wounds that are coming up to be healed, and that's scary. Or maybe we have experienced a loss, or we've got fear of failure, fear of success, fear of being alone. You know, I could go on and on, but I don't need to, because you get the picture. We've got something that we were, are, or might be in the middle of. And when we're in the middle of it, it feels like a hot spot. It feels really uncomfortable. Am I right about that? And it feels like we're going to explode. Anybody ever had that feeling? Yeah, so we know. We know that, yes, I know that. And when we're there, it can be really hard to see the beauty and the freedom that exists in the middle of it. I get that. So this morning, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You want to know a little secret about... I'm loving, there's always a couple like, yes, tell me, just quit messing around, just tell me. But you might want to lean in, cup your ears and, get your notes out, because you're going to want to know this, or you're going to want to know this so you can tell somebody else. This is the way to find that cool grace of spirit. This is the way to bring that brilliance and magnificence of source right in the middle of the fire explosion, and absolutely the way to find the gifts of God's beauty and freedom right in the middle of the fireworks. And it is this. The secret is in the horizon. Huh? Oh, sure, of course, I got that. The secret is in the horizon. Now I can see the wheels going, okay, now does everybody else get that? Because I have no idea what I don't get it. Is everyone else getting that? Because I don't get it. Don't worry, Alex, let me splain, as I think Lucy or Desi used to say to Lucy, or vice versa. You got some, he said to her, you got some splainin to do. Well, let me do some splainin. I've got some splainin to do. What do I mean by the secret is in the horizon? Well, think about it for a minute. Physically, if you are standing someplace where your view is not obstructed by buildings or nature, landscape or anything, mountains or trees, but you just have a clear shot, you see as far as the what? Horizon. You see as far as the horizon, right? And it looks like it ends right there, doesn't it? Looks like the land or the ocean or whatever the expanse is you're looking at ends at the end of the horizon. But as you well know, if you were to keep walking or keep sailing on that boat or wherever you are, if you keep going, that horizon just keeps going out in front of you. Correct? We all know that, right? Physically, we know that. But when we are in the middle of our firework, whatever it might be, we tend to think that as far as we can see is the end of the journey. That as far as we can see is the end of the horizon. So for example, to pull from some of those examples I gave earlier to make them more specific, we might be saying right now, I've got huge expenses building up, and I don't see, and I've got a couple of bills coming due next week or next month or whenever it is, and I don't see any way how I'm going to be able to pay those. Or we just lost a job. I've tried to get a job. I can't find a job. I'm not seeing any job out there for me. Or we've just had an end to a relationship. Maybe it was a breakup, or maybe our loved one made his or her transition. And we say, I don't see how I'm ever going to feel love again. Or we're in the middle of kind of an emotional upheaval, and we've got some old stuff coming up and wounds that maybe haven't been quite healed yet. And we think, I'm never going to be out of this. I'm never going to feel better. What we're doing there is, I will say, normal in the way of human existence goes. It's normal, it's human for us to feel that way, because we are human, and we are so much more than that. We are so much more than human. And so really, when we're having those kinds of thoughts, when we think the horizon that we see is the end, we're really coming from a consciousness of not. Right? We're coming from a consciousness of not enough. We're coming from a consciousness of lack and limitation. We're coming from a consciousness of restriction. Not an expansive consciousness, not an expansive view of the world that we're actually here to have. So we actually kind of act like the people of ancient days who thought the world was flat and thought that at the end of the horizon, if they were to continue beyond that point, they would fall off the edge of the earth, right? They thought, they really believed that. We're believing that. Now, when we talk about our ancient and our ancestors and think, well, they were pretty foolish. Of course, they were doing the best they had with what they knew. But that's kind of foolish now with our knowledge to see them seeing it that way. It is also, I say this with deep love and respect, it's sort of foolish of us to think that what we're seeing right now in the middle of this firework is all there is. The secret is seeing beyond the horizon. All right, well, that's a great idea. So how do I do that? How do I see beyond the horizon when I'm in the middle of it? Because, I mean, am I the only one that when you're in the middle of it, it's hard to see? Is that correct? It's kind of hard to see beyond when you're right there, which is why, my friends, there is spiritual community, which is why spiritual communities like this exist, which is why we offer classes, which is why we offer a weekly time to come together and hear something that may trigger a new idea, to be in fellowship with like-minded people, which is why we have these things called practitioners in religious science. We've changed the name to spiritual life coach, but that's why we have people like that to help us, hold us up, and see for us and help us see when we're having a hard time. Now, I know out in the world today, in the spiritual world today, the message that we offer in a New Thought church, you can get, pretty much anywhere. This is not a hidden message anymore. It's out there. You can go on a million webinars. You could be on a webinar every day of these teachings. You can turn on Joel Osteen in the morning and pretty much hear our teachings with an altar call at the end. I mean, that's the difference, and a couple Bible verses thrown in. You can get it. You can get it. You don't need to come to a place. You don't need to do that. But I actually say we do need to do that. We need to do that for the collective, for the community, for the love, for the care, for someone taking your hand. Before first service, I always walk in through that door about 10 of, and I had just put my big high heel shoes on. I don't run around with those during pre-service. I run around my little flats because you don't want to be hanging out in shoes like this for all that long. All right. So I had just put them on, and one of them was kind of hurting, and I must have been exhibiting that on my face when I walked out the door. Because the first congregant I said, she looked at me with these caring eyes, and she said, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I think so. Well, yeah, I am." And she goes, "I don't know. I just felt like, you just looked like you had something heavy on your heart." And I said, "Well, no, it was heavy on my feet." That's what it was. It was my foot. My foot wasn't in that shoe quite yet, and it hurt. That's what you saw. But the point is not the shoe. The point is the care. The care that was delivered right there to me. Are you okay? And then between services, I had somebody else come. I think you're gone already. Yeah. Amy came up to me and she goes, "I just want to know, Michele, are you taking care of yourself? Are you doing okay? Are you doing some self-care?" Like, how precious that is. This is why community, so that we look out for each other. This is how we help see beyond that momentary, and it is only momentary. That is how we climb higher, because that's what we need to do. To see a new horizon, we need to climb higher. And spiritual community helps us climb higher. So when we climb up higher and get a bigger perspective, we have a bigger view. We can see forward, of course. We can also, and I want to do this for just a minute, see backward. I'm not a big fan of going back. I don't actually do that very much because we do the best we can with what we had and where we were, and we learn and we grow and we move forward. But in this instance, I want to just give you maybe a new perspective on looking back. So as here we are on a higher place, getting a higher vision, a higher view of life, and we're just going to take a quick look back. So let's just say, as an example, finances are a challenge for you right now. Think to when you were, let's say 10 years old. You were 10 years old. Think about how much money had passed through your little hands from 0 to 10. Some. You probably had a paper route, or you got an allowance, or, you did something to have a little bit of money. And now fast forward to where you are standing on this hilltop right now. You may think you've got money challenges right now. Okay. Think about for just a moment how much money has flowed through your hands from 10 years old to today. How much affluence has come into your experience from age 10 to today? Why would you think it would stop today? Think about, if you will, your first job. However old you were. I was 15, 16, I think, when I got my first job. I told in first service I hadn't planned to tell this, but my very first job was working for Susie's Casuals. It was a store, a clothing store, which of course was really stupid for me to work in a clothing store. Where is all my paycheck going to go? But the challenge is I didn't have much of a paycheck because I worked one weekend, and then the following weekend I was scheduled to work. I'm part-time. I work Saturdays, right? Saturdays and Sunday. Well, I couldn't work that next Saturday. I'm so sorry. I'm not available to work, I told them. It's the prom. The prom is Saturday night. I have to lie out in the sun all day and then spend at least 4 hours getting ready. I can't work, which is what I told them, and I thought that was quite reasonable to me. That was quite reasonable that I cannot work today. They did not see it that way. And they said, no, this is your job. You will come work. And I said, oh, no, I won't. I'm sorry, I won't. Bye. See you later. It's been fun. So I worked, I think, a day and a half at Susie's Casuals and probably owed them money for the outfit that I bought, mostly. So that's my first job experience. But let's say you right now are looking for a job and you haven't found a job and you're frustrated and you're thinking, I'm never going to find a job. Right? You're sitting on the hill right now. I just want you to look back to that very first job you had and how many jobs and how many ways have you had to share your gifts over the years from then to now, the 10, 20, 30, 40, however many years it's been. Why would you think the opportunities would stop now? Same thing with love. We could do that with every single thing. Why would we think that the flow of good of God would stop just because right now in this moment you're sitting in the middle of a firestorm, in the middle of a firework? So that's, I think, a benefit of looking back. So let's not do that anymore. Let's stand up there and look forward. And I love the scripture from Genesis when, and this is before Abraham was named Abraham. He had a name change there. Many times in the Bible, names get changed when the characters had a transformation. But this is before his transformation. This comes from Genesis chapter 13, verses 14 and 15. The Lord said to Abram, now lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are, northward and southward and eastward and westward. For all the land which you see, I will give to you and to your descendants forever. What a beautiful promise. Get up on the hill and look, because this, my friends, is yours. A vast expanse of good available to you. Ernest Holmes tells us the range of our possibilities at the present time does not extend far beyond the range of our present concepts. As we bring ourselves to a greater vision, meaning we see beyond the horizon, we induce a greater concept and thereby demonstrate more in our experience. In this way, there is a continuous growth and unfoldment taking place. Little by little, we can unfold our consciousness until at last we are made free. Until at last we are made free. There's a great story about Robert Louis Stevenson, the great author and poet, who shared his gifts beautifully with the world, but he had physical challenges. He had pulmonary issues, and he spent much of his life in bed with coughing and bedridden, being ill. And there was a particular time that he was in bed, and on the bedside stand, he had all these vials of medicine. And his wife walked in one day and just kind of looked at all that medicine and looked at him, and she sort of had a heavy heart, and she just said, how you doing today, hon? And he said, I'm doing just fine, thank you. I will never let a bank of medicine bottles keeping me from seeing beyond the horizon. I will never let a bank of medicine bottles keep me from seeing beyond the horizon. So that is our spiritual job. The way we keep our spiritual cool when we're in the middle of the firework is to climb up. We get support here doing that, and to see beyond the present concept, to see beyond the present condition, to see beyond the circumstance, to see beyond to the new horizon, and know that infinite flow, which has been with you all your life, will continue to be with you. Now, let me let you in on another little secret. And this is not a secret that is that we don't know. But sometimes we treat it like a secret because we don't live it. We don't live it, so to us it is a secret. But I want us to really embody this even more fully today, to live that place of the higher realm, to be able to see beyond the horizon is to know, even if we can't find it in the moment, to know that God's presence is right there in the situation, and therefore God's gift, actually we're going to say gifts, are right there in the middle of the firework. Now, granted, we might not be able to see it. And we're not going to force ourselves and push ourselves to try to see it, because that only makes things worse. But what the invitation is, and the secret here is, to invite the gift to reveal itself. Because as we have an inviting way, which is really about surrender, when we surrender into the moment and simply invite Spirit to show itself so full and alive and present, you will see the gift. And I know as good religious scientists, we want to find the gift now. Right? Is that not right? We want it. We want it. I need the gift. I need it now. Because boom, get in, get out. Good. Right? Well, sometimes there's an unfoldment. I'll never forget, and those of you who've been around for 4 years or so remember when I had what I like to refer to as the incident. I call it the incident in Safeway in the frozen food section, trying to keep cool, actually, in the summer. It was in June, I think. No, it was May. It was May that this happened. It wasn't too hot yet. I fell in the grocery store off, dang pair of high shoes. It wasn't the shoes' fault. But anyway, they were the physical culprit. 3 times his heel slipped out from under me, and I fell. Those of you who don't know this, I broke 3 bones, 2 in my wrist and 1 in my knee. I was a mess for a while. I was a physical mess for a while. I know I felt so sorry for myself. Oh, so sad, so sad. But being a good religious scientist, I'm open for the gift. I'm looking for the gift. I want to know what the gift is, and I know it's there. There's got to be a horse in here, a pony in here somewhere, right, as the joke goes. Where is it? I want to find it. And I was a little frustrated with myself because I hadn't found it. It's been 2 weeks. Let's go. Come on, God, show up. And then one of our congregants, bless her heart, came over. She had 20 years prior, had a hugely challenging, she fell and broke her ankle in such a way that they thought they were going to have to amputate her foot. That is how severe the break was. They were able to save it. She's got plates and all sorts of stuff in her ankle even today. And she sat down with me and she said, Michele, you're trying to find the gift in this, aren't you? I went, well, of course I am. This is what yes. She goes, can I give you some advice? I know you're the minister, but may I give you some advice? I'm like, yes, of course, I'm open. She says, forget trying to find it. You focus on what you need to focus on right now, which is healing. You just need to heal. So when we're in the middle of something, we might just need to focus on healing. We just need to let ourselves heal. But be open to the gift. So she said, give up trying to find the gift. Just know it will be revealed. She said, 20 years I've dealt with this ankle, and guess what? It's still giving me gifts. It's still revealing gifts. But the first one didn't come right away. It took a little while for me to get what the gift was. Now, I got lots of gifts out of the fall, one of which was to really open myself up to receive support and to receive nurturing and love from so many people and to really allow that in. That was a big one for me, but there were lots of other ones too, which is not the purpose of this talk. I won't go into those. But I'm saying they were there, and I saw them and I got them. So when you're in the middle of your firework, when you travel to the top of that mountain to get a higher perspective, one way to help extend that horizon even further is to simply to be open to seeing the gifts. And I love these words from our beautiful founder, Ernest Holmes. The eternal gift is always made. The gift of God is the nature of God, the eternal givingness. God cannot help making the gift because God is the gift. God can't help making the gift because God is the gift. And there's a beautiful story of Mother Teresa who believed that there was always a gift in the moment. And she was on a flight in an airport with a friend, and the friend heard over the loudspeaker and actually couldn't hear it, so she went up to the ticket desk and said, "What did they say?" She said, "Our plane." She came back to Mother Teresa and said, "Oh my gosh, there's a big problem. We have a big problem with our flight." And Mother Teresa said, No, there are no problems. There are only gifts. There are small gifts and there are large gifts. So tell me, which gift is this? And the friend said, "I don't know which gift this is. I don't know. I think it's pretty big, actually. Our flight is being delayed by 2 hours." And Mother Teresa said, "Oh, that would absolutely be a small gift. What a wonderful opportunity it will be for me to finish the novel I started yesterday." Right? There are gifts in everything. There are gifts in everything. So this is what I just want you to put your hand. I know we usually do the power stance, but I'm feeling right now, we're just going to put our hands on our heart right now. And if you are experiencing fireworks right now, and you haven't seen the beauty and the freedom in it yet, I just want you to look at it in your mind's eye and simply say to it, but say it out loud, "There is a gift in you." Go ahead, say that out loud. There's a gift in you, and I am open to seeing it. I surrender any need to see it now, but I know it is revealed when I am ready to see it. There is a gift in you. This is the truth. And so it is. So how do we find it? We open. We surrender. We climb to the top. It's not a tough climb. We're here to hold you up, lift you up so you can see an expansive horizon. So you can see beyond this moment. And this, my friends, is how we keep our cool, even in the middle of the fireworks. I always close with a closing prayer, but we are very blessed this morning to have Chris with us. And he is a gifted musician as well as deeply spiritual individual. So he's going to offer us basically our closing prayer this morning. So I want to invite you up now. And please receive these amazing words. Take them in, drink them in, make them yours.
Be still. Be quiet. Listen. Be open. Be vigilant. Be available. Be authentic and trust your own truth. Be grateful. Be great. Do it your own way. You were made for that. And love yourself. Love all your reflections. Love without limits. Love knows no other way. And know that love is all there is. And give thanks. Trust. Trust your feelings. Trust the God that comes through you, and trust in trust. Have faith. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in good and love and destiny. Have faith in faith. Believe. Believe in possibility. Believe in believing. And never stop believing. And remember innocence. Remember where you came from. And remember to remember. And know that love is all there is, and give thanks. Surrender. Surrender limitation. Surrender resentment and guilt and shame. Know that everyone does the best they can. Seek peace. Seek the place in you that's silent. Honor that silence. You'll find yourself there. Allow yourself to be yourself. Allow yourself to be effortless. It doesn't have to be that hard. And imagine openly. Be creative. It's your nature. And know that love is all there is. And give thanks. And indulge yourself. Indulge others. Be passionate and laugh a lot. Play. Play by your own rules. Play with children and the children in all of us. Sing without a song. Dance with no idea. Live without an agenda. And just show up. Free the prisoner. Free the guard. Retire the judge. And let the walls come down. Know that love is all there is. Give thanks. Don't be afraid to be alone. Don't be afraid to be deeply connected. Don't be afraid to be afraid, and don't be afraid to just be. Be courageous. Be bold. Be all that you were made to be, because only you can be you. So honor your nature. Honor the nature of others. Honor the nature of all things. And honor grace. Honor everything as a gift. Everything as love. Honor everything as sacred. Know that love is all there is. And give thanks. And above all things, know that you are loved. You are loved and you are loving by nature. Yes, you are loved always. You are loved into being all that you are. And all that you are is love. Love, loving itself. Yes, love, loving itself. That's who you are. You are love, loving itself into being love.